Tanashi. Can you feel that? Do you know that? I can be that.
What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi with a brand new deck profile video. This time I'll be showing you the changes and updates to my Penguin deck. Now I'm going to preface this and say that there haven't been a tremendous number of changes, and that's for obvious reasons, that they haven't supported Penguins since basically the day they went out, and no, I don't think Guard Penguin supports this. But I've been doing my best to find new and interesting tech cards that can actually allow Penguins to play better, and while the majority of the ones that I've been finding lately have been battle-oriented, they're still surprisingly potent. Let's take a closer look. Starting off with the monsters, we have a playset of Penguin Soldier, arguably the most powerful Penguin monster other than their 5-star boss. When it's flipped, you can target any 2 monsters on the field and return them to the hand. Then we have a pair of No Penguin, the most annoying monster in the entire archetype. If a Penguin monster's effect is activated, as a mandatory chain, this monster must special summon itself from the graveyard, though this is a hard once per turn effect. And while it's face up on the field, any card that would be returned to the hand by a Penguin effect, and I have a grand total of 6 of these to do it, is banished instead. I run the playset of the normal monster Flying Penguin, mostly because first off it's a level 4 water Aqua target, which is the most valuable target in this deck at the moment, and because it's really easy to pull out with a couple of different effects. I also have a pair of Aqua Spirit, a basic level 4 water Aqua monster for the same reason that Flying Penguin exists, that I can special summon from my hand by banishing any water monster out of the graveyard. I try my hardest to avoid using this with a Penguin, but sometimes you just don't get that option, you know? It also has the ability that says that during your opponent's standby phase, you can target any attack position monster they control, switch it to defense mode, and it has to remain in defense mode for the rest of the turn. I also have a playset of Nightmare Penguin. While it's face up on the field, all water monsters you control gain 200 attack points, and if it happens to be flipped, you can target any card on your opponent's side of the field and return it to their hand. And the big boss monster himself, a playset of Great Emperor Penguin. You can tribute him to special summon any 2 Penguin monsters from your deck, except a copy of himself, obviously. Next we move into the spell cards. I have a playset of Call by the Grave, a playset of Instant Fusion, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Raigeki, 1 Rank Up Magic 7th one, and yes, I am still using the 7th one engine in it for the moment, a playset of Transmodify, which lets you tribute any monster you control, and special summon from your deck a monster who is the same type and attribute, but 1 level higher. This card gets Great Emperor Penguin out of the deck so efficiently that it has to be a 3 at all times. Then we have a pair of Twin Twisters, mainly to help me get rid of the No Penguin in my hand, and a playset of Unexpected Die, exclusively to get Flying Penguin out of my deck. Next we move into the trap cards. I have a playset of a new trap card called Set Uppercut. If I lose a monster in battle, this card special summons any monster from my deck, face down, whose attack is less than the monster that was destroyed. 1 Solemn Warning, and 3 Storming Mirror Force. Next we move into the side deck. I have 3 Herald of the Abyss, 3 Shared Ride, 3 Rivalry of Warlords, 3 Solemn Johnson, and 3 Solemn Strike. And finally, we finish up with the extra deck. I run 2 Muddragon of the Swamp, which is my instant fusion target, 1 Totally Awesome. I contribute any Aqua-type monster I control or in my hand to negate the activation of a spell card, trap card, or monster effect and destroy it. And if I happen to destroy a card off the field and send it to the graveyard with this effect, I can set it to my own field face down. Also, if this card happens to go to the graveyard for any reason, I can add any water monster in my graveyard back to my hand. 1 Rebarian Shark. If it has Exceeds material, which is actually kind of rare these days, I have the ability to special summon any number monster from my graveyard once per turn and attach a material to it from Rebarian. Also, if Rebarian happens to go to the graveyard, I can stack any rank up magic spell from my deck on top of my deck, which is the main way that I get 7th one so often. 1 Bahamut Shark. In exchange for not attacking for the rest of the turn, I have the ability to special summon any Water Exceeds monster of rank 3 or lower by detaching a single material. 1 Full Armor Black Ray Lancer. Now I can summon it by using 3 level 4 waters, or I can just stack it on top of a rank 3 water Xyz that has no materials. It gains 200 attack for each Xyz material under it. If it would happen to be destroyed, I can detach all of its materials instead, and if it happens to destroy a monster in battle, I can target and destroy any spell trap my opponent controls. Number 37, Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. By detaching a material when any monster declares an attack during either turn, I have the ability to reduce all opponent's monsters' attack points by 1,000 until the end of the turn. And if he happened to be destroyed, sent to the graveyard, I can target any monster in my graveyard that isn't him and special summon it. Number 101, Silent Honor Arc. By double detaching, I can target any special summon monster in attack mode on the opponent's side of the field and attach it to him as an Xyz material. Also, if he would be destroyed, I can detach any material from him instead. Number 103, Ragna Zero. During either player's turn, if the opponent happens to control a monster whose attack points are different from its original attack points, I can detach a material, target that monster, destroy it, and if I happen to do so successfully, I get to draw a card. And number C101, Silent Honor Dark. Once per turn, I can target any monster the opponent controls and attach it to him as an Xyz material, and if he would be destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I get to special summon him back, and I gain life points equal to his original attack points when I do so, but he cannot attack for the rest of this turn, and I have to have materials on him as well as number 101 in the graveyard. I also have 1 copy of Lanforensis. I like to have 1 generic option in this extra deck. 1. Marincess Coral Anemone, a new Link monster that's basically just replaced Link Spider in my extra deck. Once per turn, I can target any water monster in my graveyard with 1500 or less attack and special summon it. And if it happens to go to the graveyard, I can add any Marincess card from my graveyard back to my hand. 1 copy of Mermail Abyss Alacia. While she's on the field, any monsters that she points to gain 500 attack and defense, and if she is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I can send any water monster from my deck to the graveyard as cost to target a water monster in my graveyard and special summon it in defense. And finally, I have 2 Miss Starboy. Boosts all waters by 500, reduces all fires by 400, and if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I can take any water monster in my graveyard and put it back in my hand. And that's the deck. I'm actually really happy with the performance of Penguins now. They've gone so much farther, and while the consistency is still a little bit on the rocky side given the lack of support, it's still incredibly fun to play. It's no longer the accidental counterpart to the Fish deck, it's really its own entity now. And I hope that anybody out there who still plays this deck really enjoys the tune-ups that I've made. I thank you guys for watching the deck profile video, and if you can think of any ways that I can improve this all-main Aqua deck, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, this has been Nanashi, signing out.